What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex. You are watching the Marvel edition of the Ragin Nation show. This is just a web series where we talk about all things that matter to me in the world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is episode number 26, and you are watching a special edition of the Marvel edition of the Ragin Nation show because this is the San Diego Comic-Con 2014 edition. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to recap on all of the exciting stuff that took place over the Comic-Con weekend that has to do with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let's start off with talking about release dates. And in the previous episode, I mentioned that there are going to be 7 new Marvel films all the way up into 2019. Okay, they have locked in those dates. And Kevin Feige actually announced that his business plan for Marvel Studios is to release one solo film, as in a new character film, and then and also a sequel. So, for example, in 1 year, he will give us Iron Man 4 and then Doctor Strange in 1 year, or also maybe Thor 3 and I don't know, Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? So the idea is to release one sequel and introduce one new character, and eventually, as all the original characters, we're talking about Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, and Captain America, as they retire, or rather their contracts expire, that's how they can introduce brand new characters. So by the time Avengers 4 comes out, it might be a whole new cast of Avengers, and maybe only one or none of the original Avengers will be back. So that is his new business model, because, well, you know, we can't have the original Avengers forever, even though we'd like to, but you know what? All good things eventually come to an end, and then we start off with newer and fresher things. You know what I'm saying? So with regards to these 7 release dates, only one of them was actually announced for what it's going to be. There's still 6 more unannounced titles, and that one title is Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and that will be coming for July 28th of 2017. Now, this is pretty crazy, okay? Guardians of the Galaxy is not even out yet. It currently has 97% at Rotten Tomatoes, which is amazing. It's quite phenomenal, in fact, considering the fact that the movie comes out in 3 days. But looks like they have locked in a sequel. And James Gunn, the writer and director of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, is back to direct and write Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So very, very exciting. That just means that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 will be coming to us in 3 years. So, there you have it. That's all they have with regards to new release dates. Now, let's talk about AntMan. Now, AntMan, as you already know, underwent a bit of trouble because of the departure of Edgar Wright through creative differences. So that is really unfortunate. I've said my piece about how I feel about that. Now, it looks like the production is running to a little bit of other trouble. I wouldn't say it's running into trouble per se, but some things happen. For example, Patrick Wilson, who was supposed to be a villain, or rather a villainous character in Ant-Man, has been recast due to scheduling conflicts. Okay, so Patrick Wilson, an actor who I truly admire, is not going to be in Ant-Man. Now, 2 other actors have also left. In fact, they haven't left, they have been axed. And that is because of the rewrites. Edgar Wright was not only the director of Ant-Man, but also the writer. And now that they've brought on a new writer, or writers, the 2 characters that are played by Matt Gerard and Kevin Wiseman have been axed because of the rewrite. So that is really unfortunate. Now, they did a panel on Ant-Man at San Diego Comic-Con and Hall H, and they announced that they are shooting in Atlanta for Ant-Man on August 18th. So they're shooting pretty soon. So if you're in the Atlanta area, and I'm not exactly sure where in Atlanta, they will be shooting in on August 18th. So very, very exciting. But what they did announce at Hall H is some new characters that have been announced, and that is Evangeline Lilly will be playing Hope Pym, who is the daughter of Hank Pym. And you know what's going to happen there? She's going to play the love interest of Ant-Man himself, played by Paul Rudd. And his character, I'm pretty sure, falls in love with Hank Pym's daughter, and Hank Pym obviously does not approve, and that's where all the chemistry happens. Now, another character that has been announced is that Corey Stoll will be playing the villain Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket will be the nemesis of Ant-Man in Ant-Man. So very, very exciting stuff, okay? Ant-Man is a movie that I'm really looking forward to because they're finally introducing a brand new character into the cinematic universe. Even though Guardians of the Galaxy is a brand new film to come into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's still just a group of ragtag characters. Now Ant-Man is the first solo character to get introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Very, very exciting, okay? Now, another character that may or may not be introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know what? He's gonna be introduced, but the question is who and when, okay? And that is Doctor Strange. We already know that it's coming. We just don't know when. Which one of these dates is going to be secured by Doctor Strange. Now, the big question is who is going to play Doctor Strange. Now, the rumor going on right now, which was going all over Comic-Con, is that Benedict Cumberbatch was rumored to be playing Doctor Strange. Now, he didn't confirm or deny it, but it turns out that the fingers are pointing towards Joaquin Phoenix, who would be playing Doctor Strange. And that is actually more solid than Benedict Cumberbatch, mainly because it is in fact that Joaquin Phoenix has received negotiations from Marvel Studios to play Doctor Strange. So that is very, very exciting to know that there is a candidate who is a first runner-up. Now the big question is he going to play Doctor Strange? So that's all really up to Joaquin Phoenix and if he wants to play the character of Doctor Strange and whether he wants to be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because if he is playing Doctor Strange, it doesn't just mean that he's going to be playing a one-off character. That means he's eventually going to be a part of the Avengers in the future films. So that's what's going to happen. So we will continue to wait as that announcement comes along. All right. Now, let's talk about Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, you guys already know that Comic-Con is a multi-day event. It's a 4.5-day event with it starting on Wednesday evening. And what Marvel Studios has been doing is that they've been teasing us. Every single day before the Saturday panel at Hall H, they've been showing us little concept art. Not really concept art, but I would call it just artwork. Okay, it's artwork for Avengers Age of Ultron, and what it's been showing is the Avengers being taken over by Ultron's minions. And what they did is that they showed off character pieces. So first they showed off the poster for Iron Man and Scarlet Witch. Then later on they showed off Captain America and Hawkeye. And then afterwards they showed us Black Widow and a Quicksilver. And finally they showed us Thor and Hulk to reveal this giant epic poster where the Avengers are being overrun by Ultron's minions. So it looks like Ultron and his army can do quite a bit of damage to the Avengers, and that's why the Avengers are going to need more teammates at their side. All right, so very, very cool. Now, of course, with a panel at Comic-Con, they're not going to just be showing artwork. They're going to be showing lots of cool stuff. First of all, they had the complete cast there. Well, I wouldn't say complete because they didn't have a Scarlett Johansson there, nor did they have Don Cheadle, okay? But they had everybody else. Everybody else was there, from Robert Downey Jr. to Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, to Mark Ruffalo, Paul Bettany, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Elizabeth Olsen, James Spader, Colby Smulders, Samuel L. Jackson, and even Josh Brolin, who plays Thanos. So very, very exciting. When I saw the grand entrance from the cast of the Avengers, I got goosebumps. It was a great fanboy moment. And apparently they showed footage at the panel, which obviously could not be shown to the public online. It's only available at Comic-Con. But from what I've read on the description, we start off with all the Avengers in Stark Tower, or rather Avengers Tower, all chilling out. And then later on, there's some scenes of this and this and that. But the big money moment, a big money shot moment, was when you see Hulk going up against Iron Man in his Hulkbuster armor. That is where you had the fanboys and fangirls all screaming, and it was quite an epic nerdgasm moment. So very, very exciting, and I would have loved to see that. Now, what they revealed during the panel is that every single one of those characters is going to have their moments. You know how in movies like, for example, Transformers, where you have all these different Autobot characters, you're wishing and hoping that each one of them gets their moments of screen time and their moments. And it's just something that we never really get enough of. Well, Joss Whedon is going to not do that, obviously. What he's going to do is going to have a fine balance of all these characters. Every single one of these characters will have their moments, and it's not going to be just about one character as the main character, or Captain America being the main guy, or Tony Stark being the main guy. It's going to be really, really well balanced, and most importantly, Hulk is going to have his moment. Okay, so very, very cool. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about is Ultron himself, played by James Spader. And in an interview, he revealed that his performance in Age of Ultron won't just be voice acting, it will also involve motion capture. And what's really great about this is that Andy Serkis is not only helping out with Mark Ruffalo's motion capture performance, but he's also helping out with James Spader's performance with the motion capture as Ultron, because Andy Serkis has his own motion capture company called Imaginarium, and he will be providing a lot of advice and also a lot of consultation with how to make the motion capture in Avengers Age of Ultron look as awesome and also as believable as the performance that he put on in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. So that is very, very exciting. We're looking at a really high quality superhero film in 2015, and it's something that we should all be looking forward to, because this is going to be the big film of 2015, and make no mistake about it, Avengers Age of Ultron is going to own 2015, okay? Mark my words, okay? If if the original Avengers owned you, okay? It might not have owned all of you, but it owned me, okay? I watched it 3 times in the theater, okay? Age of Ultron is gonna probably do even more damage, okay? So there you have it. That's all I gotta say in this video. What's really interesting about this video in this episode of the Marvel edition of the Ragin Nation show is that I did not talk about Sony, I did not talk about 20th Century Fox, simply because there was nothing to present. There was nothing from 20th Century Fox to offer, and there was nothing from Sony to offer with regards to what's happening with the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. So we'll talk more about that in episode 27 of the Marvel edition, and stay tuned for that, alright? As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, @RaginNation. My name is Alex Yu. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. DC Universe. So what is Legendary Pictures doing? They are cashing in on the kaiju and big monster genre, okay? When you